theory, are live. And so you guys coming and hanging out with us on TAS Power, more like half hour this week because we got a lot going on. But if you guys can see us and hear us, let us know inside the comments. And that's a great way to kick it off, Scott.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dive in today. We've got a cowboy with us today. Look at this cowboy, Mr. Dom Sugar. What's going on there, brother? How you doing there? I told Dom he's got to put something on the dome because it's starting to blind people. I think, Dom, I had some comments that we got to tone it down. They got to put on sunglasses when they're looking at your head on that on the comments. So Dom pulled out a cowboy hat. He's got a few cowboy hats laying around the warehouse there, right, Dom? You got a few, maybe a few thousand.
Yeah, we got a few sitting around here, Scott. Now, the problem is we're not sure if we like your private label kind around here. You might think you're big down in North Carolina, but where I'm from, there's only two types of people. There's steers. No, I can't say the rest of it, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Now, for you, Mr. Shaffer.
Oh, that was chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
Dom, on behalf of the entire state of Texas, I would like to let you know.
This is for the Armstrong. You know, even though I haven't seen the Armstrongs wear a cowboy hat at any of the meetups, I'm going to wear one for you here. Texas A&M right here. Yeah!
All right, officially that kicks it off right there with the Dom Sugar opening of the Power Hour. All right, cool. Yeah, we are going to get right to it, Chris. We got a lot to cover here, a lot to talk about. You know, we're right around you know, the holidays right now. I mean, like, we're heading into Christmas. We've got exactly 10 days until Christmas. Probably realistically about 7 days of shopping before you're actually not going to be able to get it in time. And then after the fact, though, I think that we can still expect a little bit of a bump because, depending, people are getting gift cards and Amazon, you know, Amazon money in a sense. Actually, I just walked out. It was funny. We were leaving for lunch, and my mailman was here. And I said, oh, wait a minute. And my wife had already purchased some gift cards from Amazon. And she purchased them, by the way. I usually do the digital ones. She purchased them, and they came in a nice little box. No extra charge. So we handed him a nice little box. It had a little bow on it, and we gave him a little gift, and he was on his way. But what was my point in all of that? I'm not really sure. But we're really close to the holidays, and the thing is like, after the fact, you're still going to have people that have kids too. You know, it could be kids, it could be adults. We just gave one to an adult, the mailman. They're going to have money to spend, and they're going to spend it on Amazon. So we still have some hope that we could possibly get some additional sales after this big boom of this fourth quarter, which has been amazing. And I want to talk about that. I also want to talk a little bit about what to expect, you know, between now and then also after the fact. So, Chris, where do you want to go with this, man?
First, Ruben said, over here in UT country, thems be fighting words, which is, you know, anything. Texas takes football and their college affiliations very seriously. So anytime you give a shout out to the Aggies, you got to give a shout out to UT, TCU, University of Houston, all of those people, all those other people. So guys, we're not rooting for one or the other. We're just making fun of everybody all around. And that's all that really matters, right? If we can't make fun of ourselves,
go Clemson. No, I'm an Ohio State fan.
And I'm rocking, Scott, just for you today, I'm rocking the Ohio State, the gray and the red.
Yeah, I like
that. My father would have a heart attack. I'm sure he'll watch this when he gets home from work tonight, and he'll have I'll get an angry text message later because I'm a traitor because I'm wearing a shirt that doesn't say anything about Ohio State on it, right? So it's not just Texas, Pennsylvania does that too. But Scott, one of the things we wanted to talk about is how we're not, you know, as excited about like Black Friday and Cyber Monday as people get. They tend to miss that this time of the year is actually better. And right now we are doing better than we did on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, or as good almost every single day. And I think that's something that people don't really pay attention to. It doesn't get enough love, right? And what did we do on Cyber Monday? Do you remember?
It was like 352.
Okay, so that was one day though, right? And we're averaging between 150 and 200 units a day in that new brand. So basically every other day we're having a Cyber Monday. That gets me really excited because it does a lot of things for us. One, it's bringing in a ton of revenue for us. We're actually on pace to do over 70,000. what did I shoot you yesterday? We just crossed 75,000 in the rolling 30 in that brand, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's upwards almost 79,000 now. Yeah.
And so, you know, when we were talking about that yesterday, we said kind of our next goal after we hit that 50,000 mark is to get to 75. We're in that for the rolling 30. We're not in that for the month, quote unquote, at this point. By Christmas, we actually might be. But the thing that a lot of people kind of miss is they spend all this time and energy and effort focused on that Black Friday, Cyber Monday, those 2 days, and they forget about the back end of that. And one of the things that I wanted to remind people, and it's something that we kind of harped on, all three of us harped on around that time period, is don't do something that's going to blow out all your inventory, especially if you drop the price. And Scott, this was a conversation you and I had this week, which was, you know, we're doing some discounts for our list and some of those kinds of things, and we're bringing in a good number of additional sales this week.
Sure.
But we don't want to sell through that because we know we're going to sell it at full price. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's exactly what Dom harps about all the time, right, Dom? I mean, you know, you're not a big fan of like doing these big, deep discounts or discounting your product, especially if you figure you're going to run out of inventory, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Dom, I just opened up the floor to you, man. Are you going to take it, or you want me to? Usually you're never sure for words.
I wasn't sure if you could hear me.
Does the cow have your tongue? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what it is. Yeah. No, I'm. You know, I mean, years ago we would have been like that. You know, for the giveaway style and all that stuff, the giveaway product to get our brands going. But once we've got them set up and the brands are the actual ASINs, we just leave it. It's all you're doing is trying to replenish your product is what's going to happen. And now you would have sold out of your 400 units in those 2 days or that weekend, and now you're not making any money. So what's the difference really? Yeah. You know, I'd rather have steady sales for the whole month than spend. Now, again, if you have a lot of ASINs or if you brought product in just for those 2 days specifically because you've had success over the other years, then that's like a loss leader. That's great. But at this time of the year, there's a lot of places that don't have sales in their product. I mean, I was just talking to my wife. She couldn't believe it. My daughters, she's into this. I mean, if they're in the U.S., it's huge, but it just kind of got here a couple years ago. A retailer called Just Ice or Justice.
Oh, gosh, that's been around here for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only been here a couple years. She walked in there yesterday, and they have nothing on sale, but there's 300 people in the store. They're just selling their stuff for $24, and people are buying it regardless. So, you know, there's some products that you could do that. But again, if you want to get, you know, some ground movement, and that's why people lower the prices, especially if it's a new ASIN or a new SKU. But again, proponent, like you said, I'm not a big believer in lowering it, you know, to closer to your cost to try to sell more units. Now, again, we always talk about if you can lower it by $5 and move 50 more units a day, then it's fine.
That's different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're going to be selling pretty much the same or even just a little bit more, it doesn't really make sense. And for us, I mean, one of our big things is we've been doing, I mean, we've got enough inventory to do it right now, but we've been doing it really to give back to our list. So like our email list is like, they're kind of expecting to get, you know, like a little bit of a deal. Yep. So we just started running what, Chris, the 8 days to Christmas sale?
12 days of Christmas. Yep.
And then, so every day we're sending them an email with a new, you know, discount for a different product. So we're able to push people to our product every single day, you know, and they're okay with it because we told them that's what we were going to do. And they're legitimately getting a deal. If they go to Amazon, the deal isn't there. It's full price. So again, it's a way for us to kind of give back to our list. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to sell through, you know, hundreds of units because of the email list on that, but we're going to pick up an extra. I don't know what we picked up yesterday, but I know that the one day before that, we had to pick up at least another 30 sales.
So, and Scott, I haven't looked yet today. Today, I know, like, no matter what we do, because it's a slower selling product, no matter what we do, it's going to be like a 700% increase, right? Because we sell a handful of units a day of it. But the one that we did, when did we start this? This is the third day, I guess, the third or the fourth day. The first day, we basically doubled what we would have done otherwise, just based on where we've been trending. And then yesterday, we did essentially the same thing. We sold another 12, 15 units of that product from what we had been selling daily average over the last week or so. So we know that played a big role for us. Now, would some of those people on our email list have bought that anyway? Absolutely. But I'm okay with that in that case because it's not really sabotaging our sales. A handful of the 3 or 4 of those people to get that goodwill, to give the other 10 people the chance to buy that at a price that they want to buy that at. I'm totally cool with that. And, you know, it's not a huge deal for us to discount that $4 or $5, but it builds a lot of trust with the list. It builds some of that loyalty, and that's really why we're doing it. We're not doing it to massively increase sales. We're doing it to get everybody the opportunity, if they want it, to grab these things for Christmas so that they have the chance to give it as a gift, so that they have the chance to do those kinds of things. And we're going to pick up a handful of extra sales along the way, which, you know, the real reason, the other nice benefit of that is if we pick up an extra 15 or 20 sales, well, there's a chance we move up the organic search placement. We move up those things. And we're doing a very small discount, right? We're doing 20, 25%. Right. So it's not eating our profit margin. If the discount code gets out, we don't really care because it's only up for 24 hours and it's a small enough discount that we're still making $4 or $5 on every sale. Mm-hmm. So we're able to kind of get all of those benefits without any of the downside, with the exception of we had a little bit of a concern on the first day of it because we didn't want it to get out of control and run out of inventory, because we knew we were going to sell through the remainder of that inventory at full price in the next 2 or 3 weeks, which is kind of the goal, because what we don't want to do is leave that $5 worth of margin on the table times 300 units, right? Then you're talking $1,500. That's a product, right? Like that's a down payment on another product. We don't want to leave that on the table if we don't have to. So there is a little bit of a balance there, but I think we've so far at least been able to kind of strike that with our list and get a nice lift in sales without it.
We also raised our price on a couple of items that we knew we kind of had to. We've been talking about raising anyway. So we're like, well, the traffic's coming in, we might as well just raise it and see where we get the kickback. You know, I recently just interviewed our good friend Andy from North Carolina, well, the North Carolina event, and you know, he talks a lot about that. He's been in e-commerce since like '95 as well, and drop shipping and even wholesaling and stuff. And he talks a lot about finding that sweet spot by just raising the price until you see kickback. And then from when you see the kickback, you kind of bring it back to where it was, and then you kind of settle there. But you don't know until you push that price. And I've been pleasantly surprised. We've raised it, and I don't know if that's going to hold after the first of the year, but right now we've raised it $1 or $2, and it seems to be okay. So, and I mean, think about that on an extra 500 units, an extra $1, that's a $500. Well, not all profit, but you get $500 coming into you. You know what I mean? Like, so. It adds up. It definitely adds up. All right, cool. What else did we want to dive into here, Chris?
I know the other thing, and guys, if you do have any questions about selling on Amazon, e-commerce, what we're going to expect here in the next few weeks, do let us know that.
Yeah, drop them in the chat,
because we are going to set aside a little bit of time. I know we're on a little bit of a schedule today, Scott, just because we have to cut it short, but we do want to still jump into some Q&A. And the kind of last thing that I wanted to cover, and we touched on it a few minutes ago, is kind of what to expect rolling into Christmas and what's going to happen kind of after Christmas. And you touched on it a little bit. You know, realistically, we are 10 days from Christmas. We're about 7 or 8 days from when people have to buy stuff on Amazon to get it. I think they guarantee Christmas Day delivery up until, or Christmas Eve delivery up until like the end of the 22nd. At least they did last year, if I remember correctly. Because I bought some presents on the 22nd. I'm a terrible person. But, you know, we're kind of getting into that panic buying mode. So do you guys see sales kind of holding steady where they are right now over the next 2 weeks, week and a half? Do you see them going up? And then after Christmas, what can people kind of expect to see?
Dom, I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, it's going to vary for us because we've got stuff in so many different spots. I'm assuming that, as per usual, the FBA private label stuff will just exact the same format. 22nd will be the last day. As far as the retail ARB here in Canada, with our postal system, you never know. You know, people are already kind of panicking. I would say our cutoff is it's probably going to be Friday for this week if you want to make sure you get it for next, you know, Monday at the latest. But you know, like Monday or Tuesday at the latest. Even then, I think you're cutting it. So today would be the last day for retail ARB stuff. Even our process for sending manual retail ARB stuff, we're usually delayed a day just because of the process that we use. So we deal with any issues anyways. Most of the time, we ended up giving back their money for shipping if they don't get it in time, if they still want it. The problem is when you miss it by 1 day and they want it for Christmas. Now they're not going to get it till Tuesday, right, or Wednesday, because most of the post offices and all the governments are shut down on that Monday usually, or Tuesday. So that's the drawback. But as far as FBA, yeah, you're right. Up to the 22nd. So
Well, I guess that's
what we
the
found.
other question that I don't know the answer to, and I'm curious if anybody does. Christmas is a Monday this year, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So is Amazon going to be delivering Sunday then? Because they generally, when they do Sunday delivery, it's with the U.S. Postal Service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming
Our postal service has been out on Sundays around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have drivers that work for Amazon here too, as well. Is that what you guys have in the U.S. too, right? So
those are here too. Yeah,
so
they come up in a
we'll
white,
do-
like a white van or something.
that's right. Yeah, some dude just comes in with a dude with another dude, and they just drop off. They just drop off a box. Here you go. Actually, they just came just now with my camera. That's awesome. I'm gonna start unpackaging and get it ready. No, but yeah. Again, it's always gonna. People always panic. You know, as a consumer, you should basically understand now at this time of year, you basically should go into in-store to buy your stuff to make sure you have it for sure. But I still find even Christmas Day, we actually do all right across all my brands and retail ARB. It's not that bad. And then again, in Canada, we get the extra, right? Boxing Day is phenomenal. So we get Black Friday as well now because of the US, and we also get Boxing Day on the Tuesday. We'll be busy. As well. You guys won't get that in the U.S. So you hit both markets.
Sure. Cool. All right.
We kind of get the benefit of that in the U.S. without having it be like an official thing, right?
Yeah.
The 26th, at least on the retail side, was always a big rush for people redeeming gift cards. So we can kind of expect to see the same thing there on Amazon because a lot of people this year, especially more so than last year, I would assume, are going to get those Amazon gift cards. Scott, you said you're giving some to like your mailman and some of those kinds of things. So even if they don't get some from family, they're going to have the opportunity to redeem those. And a lot of people are going to wait till after Christmas to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Gene wanted to know, how is the traffic on like the 22nd compared to now? It does definitely increase. Whether or not your sales will go up exponentially, I wouldn't expect it to go up another like 10%, but you are going to see a handful more a day on average between now and I would say probably next Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what happens. I know I'm flying out Thursday night to go up to Pennsylvania, so I'm curious to see what happens when I land and check Fetcher. Because, I uninstalled the Amazon Seller app so I'd stop playing Amazon Roulette, and then we started using Fetcher, and now it's just as bad because I have instant access to that. But I'm curious to see what kind of happens there. But, between Christmas and the end of the year, you see another little spike, and then things kind of mellow out a little bit towards the second, third week of January. I wouldn't say that there's a massive slowdown, just like there's not like one day that everything massively takes off. There's kind of that gradual build up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The same thing kind of happens on the back end of Christmas. There's kind of just a gradual slowdown to whatever your natural level is going to be. Do you guys feel the same way about that?
Yeah, I mean, as a company, we're basically, I was going to say, we've kind of moved on from fourth quarter now. We're actually, getting ready, not this week, a little bit next week, but after for sure, into our new product sourcing and getting ready because we want to get all our samples and all our orders done before Chinese New Year. Yeah. So we're kind of, for us, it's all done with. We've ran out of product in some of our main brands. Whatever. We ran out, we made our money, we move on. So I know a lot of people will probably deal with that too, 3, 4, 5 days before Christmas, you've ran out of stock. It's all part of it. I don't, even as you get seasoned, it's still a tough road because you got to put that capital out and just keep rolling and rolling. So it does get difficult. So we moved on to that. We also set ourselves up though as a brand, as a company to be successful in January with our different brands and February. So what I'm saying is there might be a downside in one of our brands, but the other brand picks us up in January, and then the other one picks us up in February. So again, that's by design, not by by fluke. We've done it that way, so we don't get that because most companies are like, oh man, awesome money, December, let's pay our bills, and then January, February, it's like, oh, dead. And everyone complains about that, but because we've situated ourselves, because it's you can't situate yourself for June, July, August, but you can definitely get yourself ready for January, February, and then up to about March, and then so.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Dom touched on something there that I wanted to bring up kind of on the back end of the Christmas conversation, which is Chinese New Year, right? Because everybody always asks us, oh, can I, like the second week of December, like right now, they're like, do I still have time to source a product in time for Christmas? Probably not. But that doesn't mean you can't sell. But the thing that a lot of people forget about is that China shuts down for a week in February, like 7 to 10 days
Yep.
in a lot of cases, depending on your factory and when it falls and all of those kinds of things. So, Dom, do you have some best practices for people in terms of when they should kind of get that order placed? I know, Scott, we're going to be placing some orders on some new products like right after Christmas, if not in the next week or so, because we're running low on some stock, and we want to make sure we get those orders in and hopefully manufactured and shipped before Chinese New Year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what happens is traditionally what happens, if you don't get your order in by January 30th, you're going to be waiting a heck of a long time after that. Because what happens is as long as you get it in by the 25th of January, I know that the holidays like mid-February, but most of the
16th this year.
Or 16th. Yeah. But a lot of factories allow their workers to actually leave the week before, start from February almost to the end of the month. Some of ours take the whole month off, because what happens is, people don't understand, is people migrate to those factories and work and house together, and then they go back home to their families for 2-3 weeks, and that's how it works. Everybody leaves at once. That's why they do it like that, because they just can't have everybody that works in that city, because of where they work, there's no houses. It's all factories. It's all so that's how it works. So they say, okay, even though we're shut down for this week, we're going to let everybody leave a week before, and you're going to get a lot of the, when you go to order in like end of February, they're going, oh, we don't have any of that material in place. Again, you got to understand, these factories, if you order something that's made out of wood, bamboo, plastic, fleece, they don't just have that stuff sitting in their warehouse to make. They go source that. So that what they do is they stop buying that stuff now because they don't need it for that month. So what they do is they reorder back. So you're really 2 to 3 weeks before you can even, you'll hear, oh, we don't have that material in the warehouse, in our factory. We'll have to get it for you. So we can start in about 2 weeks, and then it's 30 days after that. But if you get your order placed before January 25th, as soon as they get back, boom, they're going to work on your order as soon as they get back. So you kind of get a replacement. So that goes for samples as well, that type of stuff. What I wanted to say is, I know we said it last year as well, is be careful, guys, when you're using those awesome apps, for finding product and stuff like that, the Jungle Scouts, because the numbers aren't true numbers right now, because everything's elevated. And I got caught on that 2-3 years ago when Jungle Scout started, even before them other apps and stuff, or just doing it manually, right, Scott and Chris, the old way, before Campbell was like, okay, this looks great. And then as soon as March came around, there was no sales for that product. So don't make that mistake. If you see that it's grossing $20,000 a month, give it some time, see what it does, look at the history and all that stuff. I hate to see, and I've helped people out there like, oh yeah, I did the same thing, and by the time I got it landed, it didn't sell anymore. Yeah, well, so don't get caught up. But yeah, definitely mid-January and the second last week, you got to get it in. If not, you're gonna be waiting until at least the March to get anything ready.
And that's kind of the thing. Like, if you're going to run low on inventory at all towards the end of January, February, get that order in by the end of January. And somebody just asked, Kathleen is in the house. She submitted her TAS story, and that was one of the ones that I really liked, by the way, Kathleen. She asked, when is that this year? So the official holiday, I believe, Don, did I say it was the 16th?
Correct, yeah.
But
Friday to Monday.
It usually starts a day or two before that, and then it runs for a full week. So it's going to be like the 15th to the 21st, 22nd, something like that. But keep in mind that a lot of factories will let people out a day or two, just like Christmas in the States, right?
Yeah.
A lot of places will let you off a day or two early so that you can spend Christmas Eve with your family, right? Or whatever that is. And then you're not really necessarily even back until New Year's, like the 2nd or the 3rd. So the same thing happens in China. Yeah. So the 15th to like the 21st, 22nd is going to be the official national holiday, but there's going to be a couple days on either side of that where they may or may not be working depending on who your rep is. And then in addition, you have some of the logistical stuff, like if you have to get multiple places, if they're making it out of glass, they might have the sand there. But if they're making fabrics or textiles or plastics or any of that kind of stuff that they don't have on hand, it's going to add another week or two. So basically you have to kind of count out 3 weeks or the entire month of February, because it's only a 4-week month anyway, to just keep that in mind. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of that.
Chris,
I was going to say for us, like January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that's a big week for us, because we reorder everything that we ran out of now. There's no use doing anything now because they're not really going to respond. They're busy, it's too hectic. But if you get your stuff ordered, that if you've already got like the stuff in your brand and my brand that's already done, and you're going to run out, you're going to run out. If you reorder it now, they'll start your stuff before the holiday, and then when the holiday comes back, they'll go right back to it. So you don't have to wait, and that's a big key for us, because we used to wait till after, and it would take forever. So Now we do it like 2 days after New Year's. We send in all our reorders, and most of, like I said, we've got it we've got it to the point where they have access to our inventory, so they'll email us like that week, and they'll say, "Hey, Dom, you only got 600 units, 750 units. I know you usually tell us 500, but you know the Chinese New Year's coming. Right. Yeah, make them." And then we won't do everything because obviously, you know, if we might have 30 ASINs that are running low. We'll just pick the top 10 and then, right. you know, and then go through stuff like that. So just a word to the wise.
The only thing I wanted to jump in here with really quickly is, and I know we're talking about planning and all of that stuff and getting it in, a couple of different things. Number one, you touched on, Dom, about making sure you don't get burnt by the numbers that are currently there right now. They're kind of skewed. Episode 429 was the most recent one that we dug into that, and it was actually myself, and I believe, Chris, you were on that call. It was a coaching call, but we actually went through and we went through like how to look at the numbers, and not just the numbers on the surface, but digging below the surface. That's episode 429. So theamazingseller.com/429. There's also a video on there of you and I, Chris, going through that process. So definitely go check that out. And as far as like ordering, Dom's exactly right. Like when you have a relationship, that's why I always talk about building that relationship. If you have a good relationship with your supplier, they're gonna say, hey, you know, it's been such, you know, however long, you know, are you running low? They might even remind you, or they may say, hey, just want to let you know, if you don't place your order between now and whatever, a week from now or 2 weeks from now, it's going to take even longer, and they'll let you know because they want you, you know, to place that order. We just recently, we actually, I think we ordered 3 of our SKUs reordered, so that way they will be done by the holiday. So we got it done, so we got in time, so that way we got it, you know, by the beginning of the holiday. The other thing that we did was we also, this is pretty interesting too, is to be able to have a good relationship with that manufacturer and with your agent and stuff, to where we put a 30% down on a big order, and what they're going to do is they're going to produce it, and then they're only going to ship what we want, and we only have to pay on what they send. So they're almost like, and they're going to store it there for us. Now, they aren't going to do it for us to have it sit there for a year, right? But they know on how often we're doing it, and they know that we've been buying in the past, so that's what they worked out with us. It's a pretty cool arrangement. So that we recently did as well. And then, yes, Chris, you're right. We have a couple of products that we have that we're going to be sourcing, and we're hoping to get those sourced, at least the order kind of like in before Chinese New Year. So anyway, is there any other quick questions there, Chris, before I was going to actually wrap up with a little bit of just to give people the resources to kind of get moving here, even if you haven't launched yet, or even if you're thinking about launching a new product. I kind of want to give that little bit of a roadmap for people.
Well, I did, and I was waiting to see if she showed up. We got a little note earlier from our friend Tony, who is in the house now.
Okay.
And she wanted to know, should I send a Christmas gift to my suppliers? Like, should I hook them up with something cool? Should I try to take care of them? Either my supplier, my sourcing agent, something like that. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. But first, you know, for me, treat them like a person, right? If you have that kind of a relationship with them, then absolutely send them something. Yeah. Don't necessarily say that it's for Christmas. Just say, you know, it's the holidays here in the States. I wanted to make sure that you knew that we were thinking of you, right? Yep. And you can hook them up with something, whether that's, you know, an Alibaba gift card or a 1688 gift card or something like that. Or if you want to send them something a little more personal, you just need to get their address and you can do it. At this point, though, you are going to probably be paying some rush shipping unless you order something from within China and have it shipped.
Or here's a really like amazing thing that you could do: PayPal them $50, $100.
Yeah. Scott, that's what we just did. We actually PayPal out. You know, we give them everyone gets, all our suppliers. I send them $200 US PayPal, and we sent a little picture of a red envelope, the famous Chinese red envelope. And they love it. You know, that's a lot of money for them to, especially when they're making 1 or 2% on your orders. So for us to keep everyone happy, and that includes like our graphic designers, everybody. I mean, we put about a bunch of money out of it, but it's karma to us, and they've helped us so much. And it's not like we can invite them over here and, you know, take them to
have a Christmas party, right?
You have a Christmas party, exactly. So we basically, it's the same type of thing that we would do for our own staff. We consider them part of the staff, and you know, they don't get the other perks that some of ours, like, especially for us, to buy stuff at cost, or, you know, we'll take our staff out to here for dinner for free a couple times, 5 times a year. They don't get that. So we you know, they love it. They thank us. And it's definitely, for sure, I would do it 100%. Like I said, we've been doing it for probably about 3 years now.
It's definitely a good relationship builder. And I know, like, Scott, we have some Filipino VAs, and they have a thing called 13-month pay, which is basically a Christmas bonus. It's kind of more like a culturally mandatory Christmas bonus. But I would treat my supplier, my contact, no differently than anybody else on the team. Like, if you were going to give out a Christmas bonus, it totally makes sense to give your supplier a Christmas bonus. One, you're treating them like a person, right? It's not just a transaction. You're actually caring about them as a person, and you're demonstrating that. You're just sending them money, or you're sending them something physical, but it's the note. And Dom, I really like what you talked about there with, like, the red envelope thing or something like that, where you're saying, look, this is because we appreciate you. It's not because it's required. It's because you help make our business work. And that's going to go a long way. And I know, Scott, in our new brand, having that level of relationship with our sourcing agent is something that we've talked about is going to be the key moving forward. Not only has our sourcing agent let us know when some competitors are coming into the space, but they've also go to other factories for us. And we need to show that appreciation some way. And even if it's just a token through PayPal or something like that, it definitely goes a long way to building and keeping that relaelationship. What do you think is an appropriate amount for something like that?
I think
$50, $100.
Yeah, I mean, I think it again depends as far as, like, how much they've been doing for you. Like, how much product are you buying through them? If you're buying thousands of pieces, you know, $100 might be the right number. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to use your own discretion. If they've done a really phenomenal job and helped grow your business, what's $100? What's $50? And by the way, when you give a little donation like that, it's also a tax write-off. Just saying. So just want to throw that in there in the mix.
Gene wants to know, are you sending US dollars or Chinese dollars? I would just send USD and make it easy.
Yeah, just PayPal, and it's gonna convert, you know, whatever, you know, just keep it easy, you know.
Let's see. There was one other question. J. Greg Cook is in the house. He said, what do you think about repricers? And he had asked a couple minutes ago, do you guys use them for private label? We don't use them for private label because we don't have enough SKUs to make it really worth our time. And we're not competing with anybody to get the buy box.
Well, why would you need them? You have the buy bot. I mean, we do. We use App Eagle across all our channels. You know, it's a lot of work.
Yours is more so, though, also for doing retail art, right?
Yeah, we only use it for retail art. My private label stuff, our private label, we don't touch. You don't need a repricer. You own the buy box. You don't compete against anybody. And even if you do get somebody dumps on your buy box, I mean, that's why you have to send a cease and desist letter and all that stuff. But yeah, for retail art, you need to have it. And again, as you scale, it's a pain because even though they're automated, they're not fully automated. You got to put your lowest, your highest. You got to go back, and once you set your lowest, you have to go back and manually delete it, and then it'll take active. It's a pain in the butt, but it's better than nothing, especially if you do lots of media and books and toys and stuff like that, because it's pretty aggressive on there. But yeah, for private label, I wouldn't even bother. You don't need it. Nobody's going to be listing against you.
Okay.
Jed Greg wants to know, are you going to send a red envelope to Jeff Bezos? No.
No.
He gets money from me every day.
Yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. I actually gotta go to the airport and pick up some more guests. I got guests every.
Who's coming now? Papa V?
I'm warming up my hands, Dom. It's cold here. It's like 50 here.
It is. Oh, yeah, good.
No, Papa V's already here and gone. Then we had Jimmy the Shark was here just last week. Yeah. And then this today or this weekend is going to be my wife's cousin and her husband, who we're really good friends with as well. So, yeah, and then after that, it's going to be kind of quiet around here. But that's what we're doing. And actually, Scotty Jr. there is going to a Miami Heat game tonight. So nice. I'm going there. So I was supposed to go, but we had company, so I'm not going. So I gave my ticket up. So anyway, what I did want to do here really quickly is remind everyone, Dom, are you going on YouTube tomorrow?
That is to be determined. Usually I would, but because it's Christmas, I have family obligations. And I'm going to try and do it while I'm driving up north to go see my family, if I can.
Okay.
It's going to be sorry, I can't give you that.
Let's just say probably not, but you may be there. Yeah. So I was gonna tell people to be there, but you might not be there. So don't go there if Dom isn't going to be there. Now, what I did want to do is I was thinking a lot this week about, like 2018, it's coming, like it's going to be here. And we always, we think to ourselves like, okay, we gotta get ready. We gotta plan. We gotta do this. We always wait for that first of the year. You guys can start like right now, I'm just saying. But, depending on where you are in your business or in this journey, you have to get started, right? And some people say, well, I just, I feel like I'm all over the place, whatever. I get it. Here's the deal. You got to figure out where you are in the process, and then you got to go out there and create that plan for yourself. I'm going to be doing an episode here coming up pretty soon in about 2 weeks, and I'm going to break down how to do the planning and all that stuff. In the meantime, we've created a really nice resource for you. It's a 5-part series. It's called The 5 Steps to Private Labeling Your, well, it's not even called that, Chris. What is it? The 5 Steps to Private Label Roadmap. So it's basically the 5-step private label roadmap. I forgot what the name of it was. But basically, it gives you that entire roadmap. We did 4 episodes with 5 parts to it. And you can listen to it. And you can just go to theamazingseller.com/start. And it's there. It's all in a nice little, neat little package, totally free. And Chris and I went through the entire process. I've gotten so many great responses from that so far, and we just released it about 2 weeks ago. So definitely go check that out. Totally free. No excuses is going to be the saying going into 2018. Yeah, hashtag no excuses 2018, I think, because there's no reason to not start. I get a lot of people that say, man, I'm stuck. I'm afraid. I don't know if I'm going to do that right. I don't know about sales tax. I don't know. You might be worrying about things you don't even have to worry about yet because you're not there. It's like we figure out, as we go, and we learn as we go. So I just wanted to kind of just say the resources are there for you guys. Theamazingseller.com/start. It's all there. Go consume it and do it. Chris, what do you want to say there?
I wanted to kind of echo that, Scott, and you said something that really just resonated with me. I was watching an interview with the co-founder of Quest Nutrition, which is, that they sell like 1.5 million protein bars a day.
Wow.
And he was talking about essentially just-in-time learning. Before Quest, he and the guys that started Quest were in a software startup. Mm-hmm. And they decided that if they didn't get to a certain place that they were going to try something else. Well, when they launched Quest, there was nothing, no equipment in the world that would make the bars that they wanted to make with the ingredients that they wanted to make. That was not what they intended to do. But they didn't worry about that because it wasn't something that they could control. They buckled down and they figured out how to do it. And they did that by studying the stuff that was their next problem. They didn't then worry about, well, if we build the equipment, then how do we distribute it? If we figure out how to distribute it, how do we figure out how to scale it? They figured out how to make the thing that made the bar. And once they figured that out, then they figured out how to distribute it. Same thing applies in private label. If you don't have a product picked, you don't need to worry about building a list. You don't need to worry about PPC. You don't need to worry about reviews. You don't need to worry about any of those things. Buckle down and focus on picking a product. Once you pick a product, then start to worry about how do I source the product? Where am I going to get it from? What's my cost going to be? All of those kinds of things. And work your way through that 5-step roadmap. And Scott, I believe we did set that up so that if you go to theamazingseller.com/start, it will take you right to that roadmap and you guys can listen to it right there. Yep,
absolutely. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. I got to get out of here. I'm already late from where I'm supposed to go, so I gotta go. But anyway, have an awesome, amazing weekend, guys. Dom, safe travels. Maybe I'll see you on YouTube. Yeehaw. And Chris, I'll be talking to you. And everyone just get out there, make it happen. Fourth quarter is here. We're in it right now, but first quarter is going to be here too. And I'm pretty excited about that as well, within our own new brand and the things that we're working on and TAS and all that stuff. So super excited to be here to enjoy it. So hopefully you guys are too. All right, that's it. That's going to wrap it up.